Welcome to Bay Area Art Beat. This month we have a very exciting program about different theater things happening in Berkeley. And we are in the home of the Black Repertory Theatre. And I am really delighted to be speaking to Sean Vaughn Scott, who is the grandson of the people that started this theater, Nora Vaughn. And what was your grandfather's name?
Who the theater's named after, Burl L. Vaughn.
Okay. She was the force, though, right?
They were both the force,
Okay.
but she was in the forefront. He built the sets and he performed and directed and played the piano.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. So, as you know, I was involved with the art commission.
I'm very aware of that. You and my grandmother worked hard together.
Yeah.
To see this reach fruition.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so exciting to see it here and flourishing. So tell me about what you've been doing here.
Well, we've been continuing in the legacy. We're going on our 55th season.
Yeah.
And we still maintain the same mission, which is to provide an opportunity for people of all races, creeds, colors, orientations, the opportunity to experience America's rich Black cultural heritage through the works of great Black playwrights. And so we specialize in putting on shows that are written by African Americans or written about African Americans. Yeah. Once upon a time, there were hundreds of Black repertory groups. Now there's only 3.
Oh, really? What are the other ones?
Here, St. Louis, and North Carolina.
Oh, that's great. Well, this is a distinction to be one of the...
In Berkeley, where else should it be? And
right.
It should still exist. This theater started in 1964.
Wow.
And what else started in 1964?
Yeah, really, free speech movement.
The free speech movement.
So there you go.
Yeah. So we're continuing to do that. And over the many years that Black Repertory Group has been in operation, whether it was on Alcatraz Street at 1719 Alcatraz, I think now it's a yoga place, where you could see Moms Mabley, Scatman Crothers, Red Fox, wow. Whoopi Goldberg doing Moms Mabley or Moms Mabley. You could see a whole bunch of different people there. Maya Angelou did her poetry there, Nikki Giovanni.
Wow.
And I know you're a big time poet, right?
Well,
yeah, I know. I'll keep you humble by not talking about it, right? But I did a little research.
Okay.
So I understand why it was such a concerted effort to be able to get this going.
Yeah.
And my grandmother's smiling down on you.
Hi, Nora.
And us, all of us.
Yeah, no,
it's we continue to provide the opportunity for amateurs who aspire to become professionals or for people who just want the theatrical experience.
Yeah.
And our audience makeup, just so people know, is not only African American, just like it was in the 60s. It's half African American and half non-African American.
Yeah.
Probably then, culturally looking at Berkeley, you probably had maybe 50% to 60% African American, 30% were Jewish American, and the rest were kind of just mixed in there.
Okay.
And it's still that way. This is an opportunity as you look on the walls and see all the famous people.
Yeah.
Some of them have been through here, some of them have not. Frederick Douglass and hasn't actually come to see this show here.
Think so.
But the thing is, when someone comes in here, regardless of race, creed, color, or orientation, that they come in feeling good about being African American, if they're African American, or feeling good about African American, even if they're not.
It's great. That's
what the arts do.
Yeah, that's what we have to do.
We have to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all respectively should have our own theaters
Yeah.
to be able to share our culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis nicknamed my grandparents keepers of the culture in our 25th season. So as time's has gone on, I've come to understand more and more what that means, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I take my hat off to you, Susan.
Well, I think that people have to keep developing what they're developing and seeing the beauty and other people understanding it. We all want to understand where people are coming from. So tell me about the things coming up that we can urge people to
Oh,
come
we
and
got
see.
an exciting 55th season.
Yeah.
We're going to open up with the James Brown story. It's called Remembering James.
Yeah.
And a gentleman named Diedrich Weathersby is going to be performing. And this gentleman, he performs in Vegas, in New York.
Okay.
He's a consummate professional. You'd think James Brown resurrected. Okay.
Great.
I mean, I won't spoil the show by telling the outcome because it's something a bit unusual, but there's not a song that you want to hear. He says his show is a bullet train. He said, not the night train, he said it's a bullet train. The audience is exhausted from hearing all their famous songs, but they learn a lot. And that's what Black Repertory Group is about, telling our stories.
Great. And then December, you're doing Beauty and the Beast. So tell us
Oh,
about
you
that.
cheated, you looked. Yeah, oh, that's going to be good. It's going to be great for the families to come. That is going to be, I got it right here, December 13th through December 29th is Beauty and the Soulful Beast.
Oh, great.
Okay, so it's going to have a lot of music, a lot of singing. It's something for the whole family to see.
Yeah. And will it be like specifically a holiday production?
Yeah, it's a holiday production.
yeah.
Yeah, with a holiday theme.
Well, I listen, people, you hear that. So, and say the dates again.
The dates for the James Brown story,
Yeah.
November 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
And the dates for Beauty and the Soulful Beast are
Okay.
going to be December 13th through December 29th.
Okay.
And that is the holiday show that you want to bring the family out
Yeah.
to.
So it's a
Dynamic dancing and singing, high energy.
Oh, great. Family show.
Yeah, we had 17 shows 2 years ago, sold out for the Wiz, every show. This is going to probably rival that.
Oh, great.
They're already in production, and I'm already excited. So
Great. And what are you doing right now in the theater? And what are you doing here?
I'm the development director.
Oh, great.
So I'm working on writing grants, and I know from your background, you know what that means. It's a position that you can sit back and you see everybody and you see stuff happen, and then sometimes you see everybody and you see stuff happen and you can't sit back because you got to get to work to write another grant.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also direct, and
great.
as I was sharing with you during the commercial break, is that my background is professional football.
Oh, I'm glad you're telling us that.
Yeah, and I played with Dallas Cowboys and Los Angeles Raiders. And then after I finished my football career, because when I was a kid, I wasn't carrying football pads and shoulder pads and knee pads. I was carrying a script. And my grandmother, who was my best friend, used to read Edgar Allan Poe to me and Shakespeare and, Lorraine Hansberry. And those were the things that I grew up on. So after I studied at University of Maryland, my degree is in theater. I came back to the theater.
So
and,
you did the football before you went to school.
Yeah, I've been doing this now, theater, 30 years.
Wow.
As an adult.
It's wonderful. I mean, to have a family tradition like that.
It's a beautiful thing. We're committed to the community too.
Yeah,
It's beautiful to see people come back. Although I saw at the poetry, we do poetry on Tuesday nights. I saw at the poetry last night a young lady who came, hey, she gave me a big hug, and I said, didn't you used to be in my summer camp? She said, I was in 5 of your summer camps. She said, I'm your only Black Repertory Group baby. All the other people are imposters. And then she went up and she did this eloquent piece. And I was really proud of her. And then I thought to myself, I was like, wow, after 5,000 kids, you stop counting. But that's really why you do it.
That's great. That's
Changed her life. It's a whole nother story. But the arts is life-changing.
Sean. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks so much.
We'll be right back with our next guest. And thanks again, Sean. Welcome back to Bay Area Art Beat. Our next guest is Joe Orrach. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm delighted to have you here. And tell me something about you.
About me? Well, I've been living in the Bay Area for about 20 years. I was born and raised in New York City, the Bronx, and I'm Puerto Rican and Italian.
Good.
So there you are.
Good, that's good.
I like it.
Yeah, really, it's good to be mixed up nowadays.
Well,
yeah, we encourage that. So you're coming. What have you done up till now?
What have I done up to now with respect to the arts or theater? Well, you know, I performed all over the world. I came out in about 2000 for a show called Teatro Zinzani. I don't know if you know of that.
Right.
So it was supposed to last for 6 weeks, and it turned into 7.5 years.
Oh.
So I was one of the main performers at Teatro, and I got to work with some great performers. Joan Baez, Sally Kellerman, Lilia Montevecchi. They were all the grand dames in the show, and I played their love interest. So that was a lot of fun.
I bet.
And since then, after I left the show, I went to get a degree. I had never gone to school because I was performing different parts of the world. And I went to the LEAP program at St. Mary's College of California out in Moraga. And then I went to get a master's degree in theater since I had never studied at USC. Okay. So I started on the streets tap dancing. Okay. I used to be a boxer. And so when I quit boxing, I didn't know what to do with my life, but I had taken ballet classes for my footwork in the ring. And so when I quit boxing, I didn't know what to do. I had no education. I had just came out of the military. And I was driving a truck for my brother's company, and I started taking ballet classes. And saw Gregory Hines tap dance on television. And in my ignorance, I said, I can do that. And 5 years later, I was dancing with Gregory. It's been a very... I don't know, I wouldn't say it's the normal way of getting into the business, but it was my way.
Sure. Now what's coming up next?
What's coming next, actually, we open a play at my theater. I actually have a studio in Berkeley on 4th Street called the Joe Orrach Performance Project.
Oh, great.
And we have a studio, and we're doing our first play of a series, and it's called A Cat's Paw by William Mastrosimone. And it's we open on November 1st.
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people hopefully will be listening to this through the month of November. And
oh, great!
This program runs 3 times a week for the whole month of November.
Tremendous.
And do you run through the month of November?
We actually are doing 6 shows: November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the first 2 weekends, and 8th, 9th, and 10th of November. Right. Friday and Saturday nights at 8 and Sunday evenings at 6.
Oh, good.
It's a very immersive play, and I hope people come out. I think it will be well worth their time.
It's 4th and what?
Oh, it's 4th between Cedar and Jones.
Oh.
So it's like 2 blocks over from the fancy area. It's kind of industrial, but we love the building, and I think it's hopefully. More people get to know it. It's brand new. This is our inaugural play or piece. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Who are the other people that you're working with?
Oh, Darcy Marta is directing it. She's a wonderful actress and teacher and director. And Jeffrey Wiseman is in the play, and Shirley Norman and Amanda Dempsey. Okay. And so there's four players in the piece. And I think it was written in 1986, but it's quite relevant today. It's about water, polluted water. It's about media. It's about the EPA and how they converge and what goes on.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I hope people will get to know about it through what you're going to do and through this program. And do you have what's on the horizon after that?
On the horizon, well, it's funny, on the horizon, connected to the past because I just came back from, well, just 3 weeks ago, came back from St. Petersburg, Russia.
Wow.
I was teaching, but the last few years I've been performing in St. Petersburg and teaching at the university. So we're going to be going back in a performing arts center there where I'll teach and do one of my plays that I've written, I write and direct. But and then the next thing we're doing here in the Bay Area is at San Quentin. I'm performing for 400 inmates. So
Wonderful.
that is exciting to me because I was telling actually your former guest, previous guest, Sean, that I really enjoy working for marginalized communities.
Yeah.
So this is a great opportunity for Joe Orrach Performance Project to go out in the community and work with these kinds of communities.
That's great.
So our 4th Street studio is a nonprofit, and we try to work with all different kinds of communities.
Yeah.
And then our next play at the space, it's possible it could be a Paula Vogel piece called How I Learned to Drive. We might be doing that, or The Slave. So, they're just different things. But I just wanted, I started off performing on the streets in New York City, and then it's taken me all over the world. So, but it's been a great adventure. It's been a great adventure, and I wound up here in Berkeley, which is kind of neat.
This is a great place.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I love Berkeley.
Yeah, and you have a good, stable place that you're staying in.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Stable meaning.
Stable. I mean that nobody's gonna raise your rent or.
No. Nobody's going to raise my
you
rent
out
unless
or-
my partner, who owns the building, she'll raise it.
No.
No. It's
You got a deal there.
Yeah, no, we do. She's the producer, Elizabeth Hassey, and she would. I would be remiss not mentioning her name because she's been really the driving force behind everything I've done in the last 20 years.
Well, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. And
Sure.
yeah, it sounds like you got something good going, and I really want to encourage people to go out and see.
Cat's Paw. Please come down. Please come down and see it. It's a very intimate but a very immersive space, and I really believe that the actors are quite good, and the direction, and I think it's a very meaningful play.
And it's your first production here?
Yes, our first production
Well,
at the
great.
studio.
Well, welcome to Berkeley, and really
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
And it's 1510 4th Street.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much,
And,
Susan.
I'd like- Welcome back to Bay Area Art Beat. My next guest is the new Assistant Artistic Director at the Aurora Theatre, Dawn Monique Williams. Born and bred in Berkeley, and tell us what's going in between, but is now back at the Aurora, and very exciting. So tell us a little bit about yourself,
I am the new Associate Artistic Director at the Aurora Theatre, which is a theater I've been going to for many, many years because, as you said, I'm a Berkeley, Oakland native, born and raised right here, graduated Berkeley High School. The building we're in right now, I actually performed in some 20 years ago. I did a couple plays here, so that's really exciting. And I spent some time away, grad school. I was at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for 6 seasons.
Oh, great.
But I'm just really thrilled to be back and to be at Aurora as they enter this new phase with new artistic director, Josh.
Yeah, great. So tell us about some of the things coming up.
Well, up next at Aurora is Bull in a China Shop, which is a play by Brenna Turner, and I'm directing it.
Oh, you're directing it? Oh, wonderful.
Yes, and it's a really, really great play. It's a comedy, but it's also like a political love story. So the focus of the play really is this love story between these two women, real life women. It's inspired by historical figures, Mary Woolley and Jeanette Marks. And it's looking at how their relationship endured 40 years as Mary became the president of Mount Holyoke.
Mount Holyoke. Right.
Yeah, and really the challenges that face a woman at the turn of the century stepping into a leadership position. I think especially a woman who really saw herself as a radical, who was really deeply invested in women's education and women's rights, but then became a figurehead of an institution and found that there were limits to the sort of political activity that she could participate in and remain a figurehead for an institution that's backed by trustees and funders, and the conflict that caused in her relationship because her partner was about a half a generation younger than her, and she was out at the suffragette rallies and was really really politically activated. And so the play is really dealing with the twists and turns a relationship takes when two people who share an ideology find themselves on divergent paths. And how can they stay together? Can they stay together? And what it takes to move forward.
I don't know if it's, I mean, I'm sure it's intentional, not unintentional, but well, anyway, you seem to be really going for very relevant plays that can fit into contemporary work.
Absolutely. This is the one show that Josh Costello, the new artistic director, got to pick for his inaugural season as AD, so everything else had been programmed by his predecessor, Tom Ross. And this is no coincidence that Josh chose a play about somebody who sees themselves as progressive and now is a leader of an institution, and what are the limits on progress
or it's announcing to the world what's the best.
But it is true that sort of in our branding efforts at Aurora, and as we kind of look at what our values are, relevant is a key word for us. We do want to be relevant, right? Like we want to be intimate, relevant, thought-provoking, and offer audiences a really quality product.
Well, the size of the theater is so wonderful. I mean, it's a very intimate theater with 3 sides. And,
absolutely.
Absolutely. That's important.
Yeah.
So what other things are coming up in the future?
So we have, after Bull in a China Shop, which opens November 14th and will run for about 5 weeks. After that, we have our cabaret show in early December. Which we just announced. Will be a sort of hip-hop cabaret of a hip-hop adaptation of The Telltale Heart, along with the Bay Area Cypher. So that will have 7 performances over 2 weeks, which is really exciting. And then just in the new year, we'll have Barbara Damashek back to direct The Children, which is a play by Lucy Kirkwood. And, you know, Barbara Damashek is an Aurora favorite, and her work is always sublime. So that play will start us off in the new year.
Oh, great. Are you doing anything in the Little Theater?
Later in our season, so our cabaret show will be in our Little Theater, and then later in our season, we're going to do a world premiere play called The Ruler by Christopher Chen. And this is actually part of Aurora's Originate and Generate commissioning program. So we have our own in-house where we commission writers to write about something they're really passionate about. And that will happen in our Dash-Out space.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. So tell me the dates again of Bull in a
China Shop will start previews November 8th, and then we have our official opening November 14th. and will run through at least December 15th, and if it goes well,
Okay.
we're
If
likely
possible,
to extend.
extend it.
Yeah.
Great. And did you tell me who will be performing in it?
Oh, this is the best news. So,
Oh, good.
So it's a cast of 5, starring Stacey Ross, who's another Aurora favorite. She just did Year of Magical Thinking last season.
I thought she was fabulous.
Isn't
in
she?
that.
She
That
always
was
is.
Amazing.
And then she'll be joined by Leontine Mbele Mbong, Rebecca Schweitzer, Mia Tagano, all having done shows at Aurora in the past.
Yeah.
And then making her Aurora debut will be Jasmine Milan Williams. So a
Okay.
cast of 5 women.
Okay, great. I do have to say that I thought that the Year of Magical Thinking was so incredible.
I love hearing that.
Really? Did you
I
have
do.
anything to do with that?
do. I didn't, other
No,
than just
but-
being a fan
yeah.
of Stacey Ross. And
Her performance, that whole, one woman thing there on the stage by herself for the whole thing. Oh, it's incredible.
she's a force.
Yeah,
she's a force.
And is she playing the lead?
She plays the lead, Mary Woolley,
Yeah.
who's, again, the real life president of Mount
Yeah,
Holyoke
yeah.
College. And then
Well-
Leontine plays her partner, Jeanette Marks.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Great.
And after, do you want to look ahead a little bit and see what's coming up after what you've mentioned?
Sure. Also in the spring season, we have Joe Orton's Lute, which will be directed by Tom Ross, the former associate.
Oh, he's coming back.
Artistic director. He's coming back to direct.
How can I
Lute.
miss you if you don't go away?
And then our final show of the season will be Sex with Strangers, written by Laura Eason, directed by Jennifer King.
I've wondered about that play. Intriguing title.
So that will be our full season, and we're still deciding on our 2021 season.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Aurora Theatre. Welcome
Thank
to
you
the
so
program.
much.
And I know that things are going to go well. And congratulations on directing this, and thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you
with
for
us.
having me. Such a
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we will be back next month with special programs about exciting things happening for the holidays. Have a great time till then, and stay amazed. Bye, everybody.